Okay, so for today's lesson, you will be writing parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So you'll be writing them in all three forms: point slope, slope intercept, and standard form in that order. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 of each, and you can use this video to help you on today's assignment. So it says write an equation of a line that passes through the point -2, 7, and it's parallel, so here's the magic word, to this equation. So the first thing you got to do is identify the slope of this equation. It's easy to tell the slope because it's already in slope-intercept form. So the slope is -4. And because it says parallel, that is the slope that you are going to continue to use. So you are going to take this slope and this point, and the first thing you're going to do is write a point slope. So you take y, go to your point, and the opposite of a 7 is -7, equals your slope, parentheses x, and the opposite of a -2 is a +2. And then that's the answer for that one. Now you're going to take that point slope and put it in slope intercept. So you're going to do that by doing the distributive property. So y minus 7 is equal to -4x minus 8. And finally, get y alone by moving this guy over and putting the opposite sign. So your final answer is y equals -4x, and -8 plus 7 is -1. So that's the answer in slope-intercept form. And last but not least, you're going to put your answer in standard form. That's the new part. So I'm going to take this one, and standard form means that the x and the y have to be together. So move this guy over by changing the sign, so he'll become +4x plus the y is equal to -1. Check your x. Do I have a negative? No, so I'm good. Do I have a fraction? No, so I'm good. And that is the answer there. Now I'll do one that's perpendicular, so I'll just do one of each. I'll go do down here at the bottom. So now the magic word is perpendicular. And my equation is not in y equals mx plus b, so it's not really easy that I can tell you the slope. I have to first solve it. Remember how to solve it? You move the x. So you're going to have 3y is equal to -21 minus 5x, because you got to change the sign when you move it. Divide everything by 3. Y equals -21 divided by 3 is -7. And then -5/3 is going to stay -5/3. So now I can tell you that the slope is -5/3. But because it says perpendicular, that is not the slope I'm going to use. I'm going to have to change that slope by doing 2 things: making it positive and flipping my numbers. Now I'm ready to start solving the problem by writing my point slope first. So y, the opposite of 1 is -1, equals my perpendicular slope, x, the opposite of -5 is +5. Then you're going to use that answer to write the slope-intercept. Distribute. 3/5 times 5, if you plug that into your calculator, you're going to get 3. Move your -1 by doing the opposite. Y equals 3/5 x plus 4. And finally, your standard. For your standard, you need to take this one. And the first thing you do, standard means you want the x and the y together. So you move that one over by changing the sign. So you end up with -3/5 plus y is equal to the 4. And two things. You cannot end up with a negative on the x. If that happens, change the sign of everything. So he becomes positive, that becomes negative, that becomes negative. And last but not least, multiply everybody by the denominator. 5 times 3/5 is going to give you 3x. 5 times y is -5y. And 5 times -4 is -20. And there's your standard. So you're going to do all three formats. Everything is familiar to you. This is the new part, which we did yesterday, and a little bit more today. So that's what I expect you to do on today's assignment, all three equations. Okay?